Hello, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the Uncensored match filled of show Liverpool taking on West Bromwich Albion, aka the prototype Man United, at Anfield this weekend. Tony Pulis and his brand of football, his unique brand of football. We're going to roll down the M62 or up or whatever. And we're going to face them. That's going to be interesting. We'll be talking about the match in a second. But first, I have to mention the people at Bet Victor. They've got a thing called the Golden Goal going on. Why are we doing it? Because you know what? You know, this tap doesn't pay for itself. But we're going to be asking you, there's £100,000 prize available for the winner, the person who picks the goal scorer and the minute during Chelsea versus Man United. If we win £100,000, I want suggestions from all of you a little bit later in the show what we as the Redmen TV we should spend our £100,000 on. Like we did one of these in the summer for £1 million during the Euros, and we were going to get either pay Balotelli's contract off or have Jose Enrique as a designated FIFA player. So I'm open to suggestions. We'll come to that a bit later on in the show.
It might take £100,000 for that now.
I think he might.
I
think he'd take a bit less, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, look, as kind of alluded to, Steve, in some respects, the United game, if nothing else, has at least given us the perfect practice for this match, because I can't see West Brom doing anything other than parking the bus.
They did it at home to Spurs, so they're going to do it away at Anfield, aren't they? Yeah. To be fair to them, Spurs, it almost worked. It took, you know, we were saying off camera before, you know, it was perfect. Pulis, they parked the bus, scored off a corner. Yeah. Or said that should be his autobiography when it comes out. But
absolutely. Yeah.
And if it weren't for a late Dele Alli goal, they've got the perfect smash and grab. And last year at Anfield, they got a 2-2 because we just about nicked a late goal from Origi. So there's history. We know the Pulis history and we know the West Brom history. And like I say, if nothing else, the players should be used now to having the playing against the low block, because they've literally just done it.
Yeah.
I would be tempted to say Man United might have offered more of a threat going forward, but they actually didn't. Yeah. Because they didn't even try and counter-attack us. Whether West Brom will, they might. Because I
don't know that the likes of having Ibrahimovic and Pogba on the pitch, whether they caused us genuine problems or not, they create the illusion that problems could happen, and whether that means, well, we'll be less fearful playing against West Brom. Whether that I don't know, Johnny, whether that could be a good thing or a bad thing, because you don't want to be thinking, oh well, look, we handled Ibrahimovic in the week. It's only Solomon Rondon, because as we saw at the end of the season, guy actually hasn't scored a mass amount of goals since he's come to the Premier League.
He's done all right in the start of the season. He has been scoring. To be fair, I think he's more dangerous. He could be more dangerous than Ibrahimovic to us anyway, because he's quicker, he makes the runs, it's a different proposition altogether. Yeah. Never like comparing two sides. Like United came and did what they did. To be fair, this whole park and the bus thing, I don't see it. I just think there was a standoff in that game. They parked the bus when we turned the screw in the last half an hour. But for the rest of the game, we didn't make him park no bus. We didn't make him drive away. We didn't make anything happen. Yeah. It was one of them. But with Stoke, they will have that game plan.
West Brom.
Sorry.
Further slip.
Too much of this Stoke shit.
Second time someone said Stoke instead of West Brom.
West Brom. Fucking long balls. That'll be the title of his sex tape, won't it?
Tony Pulis.
Long balls. Boom. So, yeah.
Will he have the hat on the whole way through?
He's got to, surely that's the sell.
You have to torrent that if you want to see that. Like, yeah.
Oh, you're right. It's dodgy to maybe think, oh, we did it with United, we can do it with them. It'll be different because they're used to playing the way.
That's the thing. Man United's players looked a bit uncomfortable doing it. Mourinho knows it to a T, but West Brom will be fine, because rather than Marcus Rashford being more an auxiliary fullback, it'll be James McLean, who knows that's his job. He knows how to do it. Yeah. The only thing they might offer is that with Chadley in the team, like we spoke of earlier, he will offer a counter-attacking threat if they choose to use it. He might not play. They might just jib it off and go full defensive. But I think it's a tougher game than you'd expect a home game against the lower the opposition be. Just because I'm nervous, because I've seen Pulis do this and I've seen West Brom do this. So and so far, two teams have properly parked the bus on us this season. Burnley did it after going 2-up because we ballsed up and we couldn't score, and then United did it and we couldn't score. So
Chadley makes a big difference.
So we need to.
He does give them an extra dimension. So it's not just Rondon, and generally they are. I'd say they're more dangerous from set pieces than United are as well.
I think the real thing for me, potentially anyway, Aubrey, is how the players react to the United game. Because although I just think I'd like to see us go out there, because here's the thing that United did, and the thing that Burnley did was they went at us for 15, 20 minutes. I know Burnley did a much better job of it than Man United. But we need to get into the game early, get a grip in it, and basically blow them away before they have the chance to solidify. Yeah. And I think the players will be, our players will be far more geared up to that because of the frustrations suffered early in the week.
Yeah, definitely. It's 2 games in a row now where the teams actually come at us and had a better start to the match. Swansea did it to us and we're unlucky. Borgia puts some of those chances away and we're in more dire straits than we were. Man United, but they were the better team for the first 15, possibly as many as 25 minutes of that match, and that's because we didn't do it. So obviously Klopp's got to get at them. He said it after both games. I don't like the fact that we didn't start there. Personnel changes will obviously influence that. Hopefully Lallana is back in the team. Hopefully Lallana can start, because you saw how much better we are equipped when he is in the team, just for doing that type of attacking. I know Hull are getting smashed. They're getting smashed by Bournemouth, but at the time they hadn't been beaten or they hadn't been battered yet. They'd have come with a game plan. We just didn't let them get that game plan. Yeah. We have to approach this game. West Brom's game plan falls apart if we do that diagonal run, drags centre half out, Lallana or Coutinho cuts in and scores in the first 10-15 minutes. Yeah. We go 1-0 up within 10-15. They're fucked, because then they can't settle on a.
So I think you'd need to. Yeah. I think they would. I think they would.
And hope that they get a corner and
they take 1-0 at 80 on the hope that he can get something. But like I say, at Hull we went and then we got the pen straight away and it was game over. And that's the template for it. It's just whether we can do it on the team. Very quick. I'm not going to go too much into it, but Lallana trained and Wijnaldum trained. I think that's big.
Yeah. I think we could all see from just again Lallana being the key in that. Absolutely. Having him available to us, we were what we'd seen of Liverpool the moment Lallana stepped on the pitch, and we looked disjointed by comparison prior to that. But for me, we'll come on to that in a moment. But this is the beginning of a new set of tests, and again, this is our theme for the season. Is every week, what is the test that Liverpool are going to have to face and overcome? Now, we've had this opening spell of the season where we've played the vast majority of our biggest rivals, or rivals that you consider to be there or thereabouts where you want to be in the league, and I think, considering the fixtures, I think we've done very, very well considering all those things. The problem with this is that we're now entering this spell of fixtures, discounting Spurs in the League Cup, where you are expected to win football matches, and this is where we're going to see the real mettle of this team, because there's going to be loads more instances of teams doing what West Brom do, of teams coming to Anfield and going, "Nah, you're all right. We're probably going to lose here, so there's nothing ventured, nothing gained in terms of." We'll sit back, and if we lose, we were going to lose anyway, but we could snatch a point. So it's exciting, but it's also, I'm actually almost in some respects, I'm more nervous about this run of games than I was against the big teams.
We've seen last year the big games, we predominantly did, other than United at home where we were terrible, we predominantly did okay. We done well at City, we done well at Chelsea, done pretty well at that. We drew 0-0 with Arsenal, but I thought we were the better team. The home games against all those lot, we done pretty well. But now it's West Brom, we've got Palace, Watford are on the horizon, Southampton. They're all teams that did well against us last year. They all predominantly done pretty well against us. So again, you're right. It's like, we know against teams can compete in the big games because they've done it constantly. Since day one, pretty much we've done that. Are we good enough to go and beat the teams who we should? In theory, yes, we are. We've got better players now, and we're a better team. But I wouldn't write off the fact that just because we've got a few new players and the system's changed and stuff, you still have to prove that you can do it. You can't just assume, everything's fine, because it might not be. Because Hull were terrible and Leicester were terrible at Hull when we battered them. These teams, although they're crap, they're a better level of crap. Yeah. So it will. I think it'll be tough. Yeah. I think it'll be tough, but I think we've got players this season, I think, who are more capable of doing it. Yeah. They just have to go and prove that you can do it.
Well, this is it. I mean, Johnny, we are in the top 4 right now.
Yeah.
which is where we want to be. You know, ultimately, if the season ended, I'd be disappointed because I actually kind of want to spin and see how we get on with the rest of the season. But if we ultimately finish the season in 4th, taking the context away, most of us would be like, okay, yeah, fine, that's a good, that would represent a progression, sound. But kind of what Steve's saying to some extent is that the hard work that we've done of getting to this point is for naught if we can't step, and ultimately if we can't continue this run, we can't continue to build on it and continue to beat these teams, then look, fuck it, we don't deserve to be where we want to be in the league.
There's no like not winning these games and then somehow complaining at the end of it, and they know that. That's what we've seen so far this season. And for me, Leicester, Hull, Swansea, they're just all the same as the West Brom game for me. So I think the fact that we've actually already done it to some extent, we've only had a chance. We've only played 3 of those games. Yeah. But we're on it. Like United, I want to just kind of, again, you're just gonna let that go. It's almost like a defeat. I think it could have the exact same effect. You know how sometimes when you lose, we kind of need to lose sometimes. Yeah. So then we can fucking just turn it around, win 3-0 the next week. I reckon that's what they'll feel like. Monday would have hurt them, really, because they just didn't play. And I mean, Lallana back, even if Wijnaldum's not fit, just Lallana coming back in there. Can, I actually don't think Can played that badly. I mean, he grew into the game. Yeah, he grew into it. Like, he was a bit uncomfortable. But I mean, everyone was shit, and we went on that individual kind of battle against them. So everyone was isolated, and we just they didn't show themselves. So that'll piss them off. They'll really be up for it, I'm sure, on Saturday night, it's on telly and that, and like, everyone will be buzzing for it. And I do think if they just stick to the usual game plan, we shouldn't have any problems.
See, I like that thinking. Right, we will come back to this. We want to talk about Emre Can, Daniel Sturridge and Grujic in a moment. But as mentioned, Victor, golden goal. Now, the responsibility falls on my shoulders to pick the first goal scorer and the minute in which that guy's going to score to win Team Redmen 100 grand to spend on X. Aubrey, what are we spending that money on?
Okay, 100 grand to hire a bus to be permanently parked out of Jose Mourinho's driveway. Yes! I'll just say I've won there. So he can't get out of his house. He has to drive around the bus, really struggle every day.
Amazing, okay. That's a really good suggestion. Johnny, have you got anything for us?
Fucking hell. It's hard to top that, isn't it? I reckon you should fucking set up a football pitch, 5-a-side, so you can play footy whenever you want round the back. A Redmen sponsored 5-a-side pitch. Considering you were saying there's nowhere to play anymore.
Can we put like
red, do that?
Red,
definitely.
AstroTurf
with a fucking Liverpool sign in the middle.
The logo
boom.
In the middle. Yeah. I wonder if you could get that for Leicester. Well, you know what we'll say.
Yeah, it'd be pushing it, but like, who knows?
I reckon Sacco has got a cupboard full of tablets that he can't get rid of.
100 grand's worth.
100 grand's worth.
Buy them all.
Buy them all, and we'll all come in like that. Just come in.
Why don't we just pay for lipo?
Because taking tablets is fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's it.
Like Smarties, fucking pop them.
I'm totally open to suggestions on this. If you can leave some in the comments below. I'm not really sure what to go with. I like that.
That was lovely.
Although
maybe unrealistic.
But I like that. No. No. First and foremost, no. Potentially. Let us know in the comments below. If you want to play along with me, I'll be making my selection via Snapchat. But I'm going to tell you now what it is because I'm not really good on the whole Snapchat. I'm going for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, because he's not scored in ages. And
good logic.
In the 11th minute.
Ooh. I mean, well in. Good luck.
Well, you know what? I got my starting 11 prediction spot on last week, so, you know, clearly these videos are with me at the moment.
Yeah,
that's what I'm feeling. I genuinely think people expect it to be a 0-0, and I reckon United.
I want to raise this point for you, though. Like I have done a few times this week, but have you ever seen Zlatan Ibrahimovic ever score a goal in an important game of football against a big team? He always does what he did with that header the other day.
It is Chelsea, to be fair. So
not the biggest game.
It's
a mid-table clash. A Europa League.
It's essentially last year's Stoke versus West Brom, isn't it? So
exactly.
It's essentially it's the battle for sixth, isn't it? So
exactly. So you know what? I'm just picking the name.
Yeah,
more than anything else. Like not that big a game anyway. But yeah, you can play along. You can click the link in the video description underneath, and yeah, there's no deposit required. Just sign up and you can make your pick and you can win $100 if you get it right by picking Zlatan 11 minutes. Just saying. Okay, Emre Can, Aubrey. As we said earlier this week, from watching the game, he was so far off the pace when that game started. I think he got into it, but he was blown out of his arse as well. He needs football now. As Steve said, hopefully Lallana's fine. Wijnaldum back in training. I think it might be a bit soon for Wijnaldum, even if he's just back in training. The question is, do you persist with Emre Can? Did he do enough in that position for you to think, well, actually, he can do what's required of him in that role?
Yeah. Personally, if only, let's say, Lallana starts and Wijnaldum doesn't, you've basically got to replace Wijnaldum. So you can either move Coutinho back and put Firmino over and start with like a Sturridge or something, or you keep Firmino in there, or you have to Can as the placement. I think Sturridge was worse than Can, and I think we looked a better football team with Firmino in the centre and Can, Lallana and Henderson as the midfield.
Yeah.
So that is where I'd start with. We looked better and Can looked better towards the end of the game when it was that. I wouldn't, if you're going to bomb Can out, you're either making a change again, so you're bringing in a Kevin Stewart or a Lucas, or
I don't think you can play
you're putting Coutinho
and Lallana. And I think you need.
Yeah,
I think it's one or the other. I think.
I agree. I think there's a point where, like when we were going through the options this last week up, I was thinking, do you focus on your forward line first? And I think for this game we do. And I think Coutinho is best on the left of the attacking three. That's where his best position's been. That's Firmino's, and I think it's all well and good doing what we did. It was fine. Daniel Sturridge is a good footballer, but I just think, particularly given how much better we were when we put Firmino back into the central role with Lallana, I would be saying, look, our most informed front three is Coutinho, Firmino, Mane, and sort the rest out.
You play your hot hand, don't you? You're playing your hot hand. There'll be a time when Daniel Sturridge has to play 5-10 games on the run. Hopefully his legs can hold up. But there will be a time when Liverpool need Daniel Sturridge up front. But at this moment in time, you can't leave Coutinho, Firmino, or Lallana or Mane out. So then someone can't play, and at the minute it's Sturridge. So I listen. You know, I'm a Sturridge fan, but I would do what you just said. I'd put Firmino up top, and Coutinho and Mane, and then it's, if Wijnaldum's fit, I wouldn't play Can either. I'd play Wijnaldum, Lallana straight away.
Yeah,
it wouldn't even be a debate.
That being said, though,
if he's fit, but like you said, if it's you say Can needs games, well, Tottenham's there for Can to play.
Yeah.
But
I guess. But I think what was evident for me, Johnny, was we said this on the Final Word show, is that it was a concern how many players who've been on the fringe don't quite look up to speed, and
because there's no games.
Exactly, Daniel Sturridge is not up to speed, Emre Can's not up to speed. We could have done with. Marco Grujic is going to need some minutes at some point. So I'm kind of the opinion that I agree that we know what our best midfield is. It's Wijnaldum and Lallana. But if Wijnaldum was touch and go, even if he just done just enough training sessions to be counted to start the game, I would be tempted not to bother, because I think there'll be more benefit to Emre Can playing another match.
Yeah. Definitely, I agree. I would definitely go. He definitely did enough for me in that game, in the sense that it was hard. He did look off the pace, but everyone looked off the pace. And if you've got Coutinho in that midfield three as well, I just think that whole midfield three is no longer pressing in the same way that three natural midfielders, because Coutinho is not a midfielder. He's an attacker and a goal scorer. Yeah. That's it. And a creative play. When he's out on that left wing, he's popping into the... He can navigate round the pitch so easily from there. But in midfield... And I noticed at the end of Swansea when Lallana went off and he dropped in there, and it was like, all right, we just got away with that game, but Coutinho doesn't look comfortable in midfield. He's not a midfielder. So I would never have Sturridge up there and drop Coutinho back and shift Firmino again. I would never do that unless we had bad injuries again in midfield. Can, like you say, as soon as Sturridge came off and Firmino went in, and make no mistake about it, for me, from the get-go, Sturridge being up top was never going to lead the line. He's either always had successful seasons with another strike partner, or he plays on one side of the three, but leading the line in this kind of system, he's never done it. And I don't even know if he's capable of doing it, to be completely honest with you. And I do love him, and he's a quality player, but it seems like he would suit... He wants it to kind of be a little more patient and have time so he can step over, and everyone's just... We impose ourselves in a patient build-up, but that's not how we're playing.
Yeah.
It's rapid. You need him to be making the movements.
I think there will... I think Coutinho can work in that role. I think he actually did it. I think he put himself about really well against United, but I don't, he came up against the physicality of the Manx and struggled. Well, I think when you're playing against a team that plays a nice brand of football, who put football first, Coutinho probably can do that, because we've seen him bully Arsenal in the past from deep.
It's
from
the number 10. We mentioned it a while ago, and I was like, I wouldn't mind seeing him in a 3 in the midfield, but I do think he'd have to be a 2 and a 1.
Yeah.
Because we did the 3 across the middle. And then you're asking him to be an actual midfielder, getting back, defending, getting forward. Yeah. As a number 10, definitely, but that's not what we did.
Is there, so you did some under-23 chat on the Resnies Roundup this week. Marko Grujic impressing, apparently. Danny Ings continuing to impress.
Sam said that Grujic was a bit hit and miss, actually. He said Ings was great. He said, and I saw James Pearce in the Echo saying, what more can Danny Ings do? And I kind of get it, so... And again, on our show, on the Red News Roundup, we did say, I wouldn't be completely adverse if he said, I'm going to start Danny Ings up front. I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't do it. Yeah. But I wouldn't be completely like, oh my God, what's this garbage? Yeah. Because I kind of get it. Again, I think Tottenham's his game. And if he doesn't play Tottenham, God knows when he's ever going to play. But my thing on Ings is I would now have Ings on the bench, and I'd have a Origi playing under 23s for a few weeks, just because, like what you've just said, he comes on with 5 minutes to go or 10 minutes to go every game, and you can just tell he's had no football. He looks like he went on international duty and didn't get a kick. He didn't come on either game, so he needs just 90 minutes under his belt, 3 or 4 games. So that's the switch I would make. And like people say, like, well, Origi's better off the bench and stuff, and I agree. A fully fit Farhan Divock Origi is a great option. But that's not what we're getting now. Yeah. He's coming off the bench, and to be honest, he looks a bit crap. Yeah. And he's not a crap footballer. He's just obviously isn't up to pace yet. So I would say to Ings, you can be on the bench and you can be the first option. Yeah. Even if I completely agree with that. And whether it's this game or Spurs, but I do think why not start him on Spurs?
Well, I just don't see the again. I keep saying this. I love Daniel Sturridge, and he is our most naturally gifted centre forward. But you can't. I don't think you can excuse the form that he's been in. And you can say, well, there's extenuating circumstances compared to the side, but it's not going to be less of a physical test this game at the weekend. You could argue that you're not going to come up against a centre back as good as Bailly, and maybe you could maybe make the case for Smalling, I guess. But West Brom are disciplined, they're organised, they're physical, they know what they're doing. You could say, well, if Daniel Sturridge can't do it against a mid-table Premier League opposition, who can he do it against?
How many times did you see Firmino, though, on the floor and Bailly passing the ball out when the ball went up to Firmino? I don't even think it happened once. Yeah. And every single time ball went to... At the very least, mate, you're a man. Don't let this other man push you off the ball. Don't let that happen. Fucking elbow him, stand on his toe, anything. Yeah. Do not just do this. Oh, I want to casually control it. Oh, he's pushed me, ref. I haven't casually controlled it now. You're never supposed to be allowed to...
Or throw yourself to the floor and scream.
Yeah, like...
You know what I mean?
Firmino's just like...
Fucking Premier League man.
He's a strong player. You can't push Firmino
I wouldn't be averse if Sturridge played. He's not like Daniel Sturridge, I can tell you now, can score goals against
It's probably the type of game now he
can score goals.
He's had a stinker against United.
He can score against
If he started, he could easily get 2. And it's the 2.
My thinking is that, just frame it from an Ings perspective, is that what you get. You're getting a 110% charging around physical shift out of Danny Ings. He'd probably relish that. He'd probably relish getting booted more than Daniel Sturridge would. Yeah. I don't know that Daniel Sturridge doesn't need a game against a team that isn't as brutal.
Southampton or something.
Exactly. Because look, he does score goals.
For the future of Liverpool, my opinion, going forward, pull Daniel Sturridge out. Hopefully Lallana can start. So we only need to make one. We know where our 11 is. Lallana's in that. Wijnaldum's in that. Let's say Wijnaldum can't make it. Put Can in for Wijnaldum and then play the best team. But if both of them can't, because I think Daniel Sturridge starting against a Spurs reserves, getting 90 minutes under his belt, possibly as a part of a two with Divock Origi or with Danny Ings.
Gets confidence back up.
Gets his confidence back up because he goes and gets two and he looks like the best player on the pitch, because he should do, because he's going to be playing against they've basically said that they're going to field kids because they've got Champions League, and at some point he's got to field their reserves. So then from there on in, Daniel Sturridge's confidence flies, and that's the type of game where you then drop him in against Palace away and he gets a fucking screamer, and then all of a sudden we're all saying how great Daniel Sturridge is again. I think coming off a real stinker against United where he was, and we've got options, we've got choices to make. If Lallana's fit enough, he's got to start because he's been so good. So you've got one choice to make. Do you start with Can? Do you start with Sturridge? And I think everyone would say I'd rather start with Can because the front three is a bit better. But and then also just to retake the point,
you want to see him build into the team as well, Can, like, because we all believe.
And then
like,
the other
he's
thing,
got the quality, don't we?
On the defensive Can is that was Can's first 90 minutes, and he looked rusty and he looked better by the end of it. Sturridge has been playing the last few weeks, so he's not been starting, but he's been getting more game time than Can has, and he still looked worse.
He didn't look tired at the end, did he? But looked tired at the beginning again, and I just think that was the way the game like set up and started.
Can was a weird one that you can, if you watch the match the day back, he looked like our best player because of the much of the good things we did had Emre Can in and around.
My only issue with Can in midfield, and he still does it now, he can't take a ball on a half turn.
No,
and that's why Wijnaldum and Lallana do. And that's what we missed the other day. I thought every time Henderson gave it to Can and he'd take a touch and he'd look and he'd be near. Even his his shot was very awkward. It wasn't get out your feet and bend it like what we've seen our players be doing. It was like a bit higgledy-piggledy and he toed and it nearly went in and stuff.
I think his failed nutmeg didn't help him, did it? Do you remember early on in the game?
Can go for the meg.
So. Yeah, he went for that meg and then it was like, oh shit, and then it was like, poor decision making there. The game's not going well. You were not flying. You're not turning them. Don't try fucking meg there.
I just think that position. He's been playing defensive midfield for us.
Which did you find that out very quickly that he never played deeper than Henderson? Yeah, I found that a bit odd. I thought you might have.
Yeah, no. A couple of moments during the game they did a little bit. They switched a little bit, but I don't know whether it just is psychologically he wasn't comfortable pushing on because he's thinking, no, it's my, you're just thinking naturally.
He's got to be there to.
It's like having a wee in the sea. You know what I mean? You're used to not weeing in trousers. You know what I mean? In shorts. So you know what I mean? You naturally, no one ever been.
I actually preferred them ahead.
Prefer weeing in the sea.
I preferred pissing in the sea. No, I preferred keeping Hendo there. If Hendo's going to be the captain and the number 6, that is his role in the team.
That makes sense.
And there really is nowhere else for him to seal in and let.
But I wouldn't put it past Emre Can to be better.
No, listen, all he needs to do, he was playing in that role like he plays his other role. So when Henderson gets the ball now, Henderson will take a touch and he has time and looks up. The next pass that Henderson makes, that's when we speed up. Yeah. And it was getting to Henderson and then it was to Can and then it was speed.
He's doing the same.
It was a little bit slow, but
exactly,
that's not something that's.
I don't think Henderson could control the pass from Matip though and do that with the two defenders. Hendo couldn't do that, whereas Can does have better feet. Yeah. So, yeah, I'd go for Can.
The only final thing that quick, I know you haven't got it, is Milner didn't train today.
Yeah,
head injury.
I'll be perfectly honest. Moreno. I'm not asked about whether Moreno plays or not. I don't want to be. I don't want to go against the grain of what everyone seems to think about football and that. But if he plays, shan't. If he makes a mistake, you might make a mistake. But you know what? He is not that in inverted commas.
He had a bad spell, didn't he? I think we'd miss Milner in terms of if they're going to be deep, then you want to use the ball. But if he can't, say Moreno wasn't the worst backup left back you're going to ever have in the world.
Gary Neville's to blame for it, I'm telling you, because
he's better than Smith as well, isn't he? You know what I mean? And look, if Moreno's in that squad, which he is, we haven't let him go. Klopp was bigging him up, saying he was doing really well in training.
This is his job, isn't it?
As backup left back, if he's going to start 10 games this season, West Brom at home is actually one of the games I want him to start, because ultimately they're not going to have that much of the ball. So he's going to do all the stuff that he actually does well, which is pace, getting on the left. Whereas I'd be more worried if we're talking about Everton at home.
You wouldn't want to drop him in Old Trafford, would you? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then you'd be like...
But the fact that he threw him in, though, I do think he might start.
I think he'll have to now.
If Milner's not trained by...
He's not available, absolutely.
I'm up for it.
Yeah, I'm down with that. So let's have some key man predictions. Aubrey, what do you think?
Sadio Mane, I think he was quiet and marked out the game against United. relatively quiet from what we've seen of him against Swansea, and he needs to get back to that. The question of, is Matip our best signing of the summer, which is a preview that's on YouTube at the moment, is just
Good
not,
show,
because Sadio, it's a boss show, and it's you made a good argument for Matip, but ultimately it's Sadio Mane. Go out there, put 2 or 3 past West Brom, and prove that you are amazing.
Okay, I'm all in, as Mr. Hull would say. Johnny,
I'm gonna say Firmino slots right back up front. I think you'll immediately just see Liverpool again.
Yeah, he's due a goal or an assist.
I don't even know if he's going to score. That's the thing. Yeah. Like, but again, it doesn't matter. It's just that's the team will work the way we want to see it if he's there.
Steve?
Liverpool signing of the summer is Joel Matip. No,
it's a good show, isn't it?
Yeah,
Go
good show.
On
Redmen TV, the preview. No, I'm going to pick Matip, and I'm going to pick it because West Brom will look for free kicks and corners, because that's what West Brom are going to do. Yeah. So one of the 2 centre-halves has got to deal with those situations. I'm more confident in him than Dejan Lovren at the moment. And also, the Can situation that we mentioned before, when Matip goes forward, strides forward, and panics Man United, and if it's only from a class save that David De Gea can make, that I don't think Ben Foster can make, that they save that ball. So I think Matip with the ball is going to be key, in that he can go and join the attacks as well. Because if West Brom are employing the low block like we think they're going to do, and I mentioned this on the show, once Matip strides forward with the ball, someone's got a decision to make. Do we let him have the ball, or does one of us go? And as soon as one of them goes, Lallana's not marked, or Mane's not marked, or Coutinho's not marked and stuff. So I think him with the ball could be key. And like I say, best signing. And I'm all in on Sadio Mane, by the way, so that's what
Absolutely.
that's a big praise.
I'm not going to lie, that Matip was who I was going to go for, because this is the kind of game we talked about, the Pulis approach. Are defending on set pieces, they're going to look to get balls in.
And especially because Karius has looked a bit dodgy under them. Yeah. Their team talk this week is get anywhere around the 30-35 yard mark, get fouled, and get our big lads up, and we'll test their goal. We know we're not stupid. That's what they're going to do.
And I think we're going to see what what Matip was bought for, to be that big commander, and we've seen him do it. You know how many times he's just headed stuff clear that last season we were going, when it was coming into the box. I think that, but also these are the kind of games, and I always say, particularly Tony Pulis side, it was always when it was Stoke, was you need to just score a goal. Doesn't matter how you score a goal, you need to score one, and I think he's due. I think he's due one from a corner or a free kick himself.
Fingers crossed.
To knob one in. So yeah, I'll back it up on Matip there, mate. Score prediction, Orb?
3-1 obviously to Liverpool. A hard, not like a completely dominated like the whole game. It'll be a bit bitty, but we'll get the goals possibly in the last 10-15.
Okay.
I'll go 3-0.
Nice.
Yeah, I reckon we're going to get back-to-back clean sheets. I think they liked the clean sheets. That's all there was to really like, and I do think they're going to do all they can to try and get a few clean sheets on the bounce now and just kind of control the game.
Yeah.
And 3 goals is like 3 seconds worth of events in a match of 90 minutes. Yeah, we'll take them patiently.
Okay.
I think it's going to be tough. I think 1-0.
Yeah. I think...
I don't think they're going to do anything other than try and get a 0. I reckon it's going to be like a 10-1 but this time we do break it down, and it's like a second half goal from a piece of magic from Coutinho or whatever. But if we play like we did against United, I think we'll win, because their goalie can't do what David De Gea just did.
Yeah.
Whether fingers crossed we do that.
Hello. Getting a call, hello. That'll be your agent. Tell them to find you some other way.
Just go.
You're wired in. Please sit down. Yeah, I think this is what this got the hallmarks of. If Liverpool get a goal, or perfect scenario, 2 in the first 15-20 minutes,
could be anything,
then I think we'll absolutely wipe the floor with them, and it could be name your score. But if not, it's got 0-0, 1-0 written all over it. We might have to nick one off a free kick or whatever late on or a bit of a Coutinho top dinner to get us through this. So yeah, leave us your score predictions and your key men predictions in the comments below. As we mentioned earlier in the show, the Bet Victor Golden Goal things is running. If you think you know better than me, There's Zlatan Ibrahimovic in the 11th minute. You can play along by clicking the link in the video info underneath. As I said before, you don't need to deposit to play, but you can just enter and you can have a chance at winning 100 grand from BetVictor, which sounds pretty good to me. Do keep your suggestions coming in for what we should spend the money on when we win in the comments below. Glug, glug, glug.
That doesn't mean... No, I should do that, shouldn't I? Because that implies, like, tiny willies. I mean, like that.
Like big willies.
No, like thin.
If you think Steve needs to sort of go from this to this...
If you think Steve needs some willy therapy...
That is me taking tablets. It wasn't nothing rude. But it's going to look rude.
Just saying.
I've had a shocking minute there.
You just did a sack. That's what's known as a sacco. Perfectly stable for like most of the
I had a great performance and then I let myself down.
Crazy minute.
I had a crazy minute.
And I was close inside your own 18-yard box there for no reason whatsoever.
I've saccoed it.
I've just rouletted.
I made it look like I was
on FIFA
giving oral sex, and then I done a little willy sign at the same time, and it wasn't what I didn't mean either of them.
Yeah. Anyway, do join in. Tune back in next week. It will be with the normal after post-match content as well. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave any thoughts on anything discussed in the comments below.